So in general, I'm not the sort of person that shows off every single new little thing that I buy, but this is not any little thing. This right here in front of us is the first major upgrade to my computer in quite a few years. The last upgrade I had was or major upgrade I had was probably my processor, and before that was actually my old GPU, because this right here is my new GPU. I got it from a Black Friday deal, and I'm really happy. It is the only thing I bought other than a cable to come along with it, but yeah, the only thing I bought, but it's definitely worth it, and it's definitely something I've been looking for a long time. My GPU has been a bottleneck of mine for quite a long time now, and yeah, it was about time I upgraded. So I got an EVGA SSC GTX 1060. So it's not the best thing in the world. Obviously you've got 1070, 1070 Ti, 1080, 1080 Ti above those, but for what I'm doing right now, this will work. This will do everything I need it to do, and it's definitely an upgrade over what I previously had. So if you didn't know what I previously had, I had a GTX 660, so that is quite a few generations behind now. It doesn't have DirectX 12 like this. There's a bunch of cool other stuff that I'm going to be able to get from this as well, in sort of, you know, just other realms other than just performance and being able to actually play some newer games in life. But yeah, I just took the old card out of my computer, so I will show that one in a second, just show you the difference. But let's get straight into this, and we will do it. I'll just get my knife out and we'll cut this open, hopefully not breaking anything. Let's just quickly lift this up, and we should not break anything. As far as I'm aware, there is a poster in here as well, I think, at least some stuff like that. I did have a quick look at some other people's videos, because I had to research before spending a whole lot of money, because I don't like spending money and not knowing if it's a good choice. So we will just get all this wrapping off, and it will be a lovely experience for all of us. So because I still have the old card, I might do some comparisons between the new and old card in some games, but obviously recording doesn't really reflect 100% playing the game. So what we have here is we have another thing to cut through, so let's just do that quickly, and here we are, and let's bring it out, if I'm actually able to do that. Apparently not. So here we are. Obviously the box has a little thing in there. It's got all the just random stuff. Really, the stuff we care about is what's actually in it. It's got something to do with the fan, about the ball bearings. It uses something, double ball bearings, something like that, to make it last longer. But that's not what we care about too much. We care about the actual card. So as I said, sort of a poster, I think. Maybe we'll show that in a minute. But have a graphics card user guide and a little badge, a CD, which I can't even use because I haven't got a CD drive, a really nice badge actually. I'm not going to put this on my current case. Let's just see if we do that. I'm not going to do that on my current case because I need to upgrade my case, because my case is a little bit shoddy. I bought it quite cheap originally, so it was a bad decision. I should have probably just saved up more and got a better case, but I am on the lookout for a new case, so I'm going to maybe put that on the new one. We do have a, I think it's 2 6-pin to 8-pin, or 2 6-pin to 1 8-pin connector. Do already have an 8-pin on my power supply, and I also do actually have a spare one of these from EVGA that I previously bought. So yeah, that's perfectly fine there. So now on to the lovely thing, and I do love the design of this card, but let us see where we got to do this. Oh, let's not drop it. Here we have the lovely card. Let's just lift it up out of the case if we can. It's been a little bit stiff on me. Don't want to break it, obviously. We've not even got it out of the case yet, and it's already causing problems. There we are. Being stubborn. So here is the lovely card. I love these bits. These are my favorite bits. Because the camera's not got a really good autofocus, I'll try and focus manually. But yeah, if not, I'll just get some photos. But there's the EVGA and GeForce GTX 1060. It's got a ACX 3.0. We got a nice that SSC being shown right there. So let us do the most glorifying thing in the world, and that is taking off the wrapping whilst in focus. Let's do that first. There we are. So from the corner, let us lift it all off. I was going to say in one fell swoop, but it didn't actually do that because it's been a bit stubborn. And there we are. I think that looks absolutely lovely. Do enjoy that a lot, and this is definitely going to be a nice upgrade, and hopefully that will mean we can get some higher FPS in just generally every game. So Lotro, hopefully. It's not the most optimized game, so it still might not be unlocking its full potential, but it will definitely be a nice upgrade from that, from the old card. Also, just generally newer games, I'll be able to possibly cover those now, and yeah, hopefully everything just becomes a whole lot smoother. That would be the plan. So, yeah, this is the new card, obviously. I'm just going to quickly go pop that back in here, because I don't want to drop it on the desk, even though it's perfectly fine. But I will now show off the old card, but the wrapping has just got stuck on it, so let's go get that. So that's the new card. Just going to show my old card. It's actually quite a nice looking card. I do like it, but I want to consider the length of this card compared to the new one, just to see, because it does look like this one's a bit longer, which might be fair to assume. But this is my old card right here, GTX 660. It has 2 GB of VRAM in comparison to this one having 6 GB. It has quite a bit less CUDA cores. I think this has 1,280. This has 960. Base clock on this one is also a lot better. Plus the SSC, I think, is overclocked even slightly, just over that, so that's good. But yeah, it is definitely a longer card, roughly, quite a bit longer, just about that much longer, which is really a bad measurement. How long is a piece of string in that? So, just being like about that long. But yeah, I do like this card. I will probably find somewhere to repurpose it. I don't want to just get rid of it, because whilst it's outdated, it still does a good job. It still does what it needs to do. I've been recording on it for, however many years I've had it, and it's been getting quite a beating. So it does still survive. If I can find somewhere a PC with a 16X slot and also power to supply it, because it does require a 6-pin, then we can get that all sorted. But for now, this is being retired. It will go back into the box from whence it came, and I will be putting this one into the PC. And yeah, I might not do some befores, or I'll see how I'm willing to throw it in and out of the case. But yeah, maybe I'll just do some quick recordings with this thing and see FPS wise what we're now being given. I'll find a few games and see what I'm getting sorted there, and see if I can bump up some settings on games that I've never been able to do that on, because for the longest time I've been working on medium settings at the very highest for a very, very long time, unless I'm playing very old games. So hopefully it'll be nice to be on, a bit of the higher settings. So I'm going to pop this in the computer, get it all plugged in and started, and we'll see how this is in the in games and such. So I will see you on the computer in just a second.
Okay, so because before this upgrade I didn't have that good a graphics card, I don't actually own that many games that require a lot of processing power and GPU power to actually play, and therefore be able to test how this new card does in comparison. So I do have a few games I was able to run before and can definitely see a drastic difference now, and I'm just going to go through a few of those. So first off, we have some Lotro Lord of the Rings Online. If you are on this channel and don't know what that is, even though I've done over 300 videos on that by now, nearly on episode 350. But yeah, we have that. I played Strike Against Dananglor, which is an instance. I was playing at high settings and with 4 times anti-aliasing at 1080p. And yeah, this game's quite old, so it doesn't actually utilize much stuff anyway. This is an i5 3570K and a GTX 1060, and the highest FPS I hit during this instance was 96, with the lowest I was hitting 15 FPS. So it hovered around 40 to 70 throughout, but it did hit a low of 15 at one point, and it did hit 20 at some points other than that, and it generally happens when a lot of effects are going on and you're hitting enemies and such things, which is kind of a big point of that game. But I did notice, and you'll be able to see on the screen, that there is quite low GPU usage and also somewhat low CPU usage throughout it, which I think is just because the game's not being very optimized and not very up to date. I think it's still using a 32-bit engine, I'm pretty sure, so it doesn't utilize stuff as well as it probably could, so improvements could be made to the game, I think, that would definitely improve FPS there. So secondly, I just did another check with Lotro in an interior location this time. I was playing my champion on Halls of Crafting, same settings, high settings, 4 times anti-aliasing, 1080p, and in this situation it's very different. Obviously we're going to have an inside location, so we're hitting high FPS. 143 was our highest that we hit during this. However, our lowest was actually 2 FPS. But I do chalk that up to being a champion doing a lot of AoE stuff and killing like 10 enemies at one moment in time, and it having to deal with all that. I do chalk it up to that, though it was generally getting higher FPS than the previous test did, but again, low GPU usage and somewhat low CPU usage as well. I think it generally hovered around 40-ish% usage on the CPU, so again, that's I think more a game engine sort of issue there rather than hardware issue on my side. Okay, so next we have Shadow of Mordor, staying on the Lord of the Rings theme here, playing on ultra settings at 1080p and just playing through one of the Orc Captain mission things. And yeah, I've been playing this on like medium-low settings, so seeing ultra was really nice. Just cranked it up as high as I could, and it really performed quite well. Highest FPS of 82 and lowest of 57. So 57 was just one instance, I think, where it dropped down to 57. You know, stayed above 60 99% of the time. It was great. Stably stayed around about 70 to 80 at pretty much all times, even in that really heavy rain, which I was really, really happy about, and I'm really glad it does well. Okay, so lastly, I decided to do Fallout 4. I went and cranked it up to Ultra, 1080p, and all the bells and whistles on. I do have some mods installed, so I'm not sure if those are affecting it too much, but I went into Diamond City on a random save, turned God mode on, which gave me infinite ammo as well, and just decided to give myself a minigun and basically mow down everybody I could see, just to get the most stuff happening on the screen as I could. And it did quite well, actually. So the highest FPS I got outside in the Diamond City was 104 FPS, and when I went inside to kill off some more of the residents, it jumped up to 126. Outside of loading zones, where it jumped up to about 600, but I'm not really counting that. So the one I noticed here is I most likely think my CPU or RAM, or a combination of both, is the issue here, as the GPU is doing quite well and being quite used, but the CPU did jump up, and I do feel like that is where I need improvement. Plus, also it's using about 9 gigabytes of RAM with 12 on this system, so I think that also could do with some change and would help out there. But overall, doing quite well. Wish it did a little bit better in Lotro. Obviously, I play that every day, so that would be nice. But yeah, you got to deal with what you got to deal with, and maybe we can get some new games here in the future.